just Stormzy being racist again. So he's put out here, he's got a scholarship for uni students, and to be able to apply, you have to be black or mixed black heritage. You're not allowed to be white. Can you just imagine if a white celebrity put out a scholarship for students and said, listen, to be able to apply, you have to be white. You can't be anything else but white. There would be uproar, would be in the news, would be fucking called racist, would be called far right, would be called all sorts. But when it's on the other foot, who gives a shit?
What's up, guys? Javen back for another video of the Spoken Word Hub. You know what it is. Big up to existing subscribers, big up to the new subscribers. You know what it is, what time it is, blah, blah, blah. As always, yeah. Alright, guys, I've got this going. I'm kind of gassed for this weekend. Done my, started doing some running club, done some HIIT cardio the last few days. I'm taking a rest day today. I'm going to a run club on Saturday, hopefully. We've got a family barbecue on Sunday, and hopefully on Monday, bank holiday, hopefully I'll be going to a Notting Hill Carnival. You know what type of time it is. Yeah. But anyway, guys, aside from that, let's talk about that video you shot at the start. Okay, so I'm getting kind of tired. Well, I say tired because I don't normally have these conversations. Other people have them more than I do. I've had them a few times, but I'm speaking to some people, and this guy, absolute, very ignorant, seems very ignorant, or if he just doesn't want to accept it. So he's gone on a mini, subpar mini run, calling the rapper Stormzy, big up Stormzy, accusing him of being racist, and doing this whole thing about because of his scholarship with Cambridge University to get black and mixed heritage, mixed race students into helping them onboard them into Cambridge University, as you clearly see. He said, imagine if a white person created some kind of such a scheme and said it can only be white, it'll be uproar, it'll be accused of being far right, extreme, all kinds of jargon, as you saw in the video. Now, I don't know why I'm explaining this. And guys, if your viewers watching this and you think the same, let me just say this: it's a false equivalence. It's a false equivalence. The reason why Stormzy is doing this, so basically, let me just read out what it is, what it's about. It's a very quick thing. So, it launched in 2018 and has focused on providing support to black students who had no financial support to get into the best schools, changing from only 2 students each year before the scheme was expanded in 2021. So the key here is the financial support. In the world, especially, and look at the West, especially, it's even worse. In the world, I shouldn't say worse in the West, but in the West, you really see this disparity between black people and minority, ethnic minorities, if you like, are at the bottom of the financial food chain for various factors and reasons. Typically on the bottom of the financial food chain. Now, it's not purely race. It's also mixed with class as well. So obviously you've got working class, middle class, and obviously the aristocracy. Let me do it. You know it's too early. Don't even try to pronounce it. But the upper class and astrocats, or whatever you want to call it, and then you've got people below working class. Which is now dubbed as the so-called underclass, which is not really, which is basically, if I'm being quite blunt, these people that refer to undesirables. And obviously there is some kind of crossover between financial, but it's not exclusively financial. Listen to this, not exclusively to do with financial. Yeah? So, a lot of people, what you need to understand about Cambridge University, historically, even university generally, not everyone needs to go to university, whether it was Cambridge or not, which is what is known as a Russell Group University. In this country, it's the top 2 well-known ones are Oxford and Cambridge, which is known as the Russell Group universities. which has been given on paper from a historical point of view a huge prestige. Not many people went to university back in the day. Now, university used to be free at first, and then it expanded to you started to pay in like at least $3,000 a year, and now it's now $9,000 a year, and it's probably increased since then. In fact, it actually has increased since then. So it's gone. So I think it's just over $9,000 each term now. You need typically for 3 years, so you'll be paying at least 27k minimum in tuition fees. I paid at least 27k plus. I did a 4 years. So I did a sandwich course. I didn't go to Russell University, but I done 4 years, and I had to pay $8,000 for the placement year, which is the third year. So I did 4. That is not taking into account accommodation fees. So I'm if I'm honest, I'm probably over 50k in debt. Like, think about it, over 50 grand in debt. How much money that is. Now, Cambridge University typically, what you typically notice is less. Even when more people start going to university, and it kind of because people with working class backgrounds and below didn't, and I say below, but typically, especially working class, didn't typically go to university. It was more middle class and above that went to university, if anything. Now these days, modern times, recent times, yeah, more. And the reason why I'm explaining this is because to put a bit of meat on the bones with this guy's thought procedures, a bit more understanding, yeah. More working class people, middle class people, and upper class people are now going to university now. So it's kind of like what was available before to a select few is expanded. Now, Tony Blair, the former Prime Minister of the Labour government, decided he wanted half the population to go to university. Now, more people now go to university these days, and there's now different factors. Now we've got things like saying that degrees are not worth much as they used to be, which is actually true. Fees have increased, yeah, which is kind of like, hold on, so it's not worth as much as it used to be, it's not as prestigious as it used to be, but the fees have increased, so it's become like a huge business. But even when more people have entered university, that's just universities in general, regardless if whether the uni is good, average, medium, or very bad, or very low on a pyramid, or not really the best of universities, more people are going to university these days. But what has typically more stayed the same, even when times have moved on, as I said, is those particular type of universities, like the Cambridge and stuff, they're more or less kind of kept. It's kind of more kind of being kept as what it has always been. Let's say even if slightly more ethnic minorities have gone to Cambridge, this is in spite of Stormzy's scheme or initiative that he's created, yeah, which I think is a very good initiative. It's not that much. It's still exclusively to probably white middle class people from them kind of backgrounds that are going to those universities, yeah. So it's still stopping certain people or demographics typically from entering. It's like a closed shops. You don't get in. You're not part of the club. So him creating this scholarship, and even with his scholarship, which is good, it's still not gonna make a huge difference in the amount of people that are going to that university anyway. It's just a bit more. He's just doing his part. He's just doing his part. He's one man that's doing his part. Why is this guy? If this guy, I don't know if this guy, the guy that's which you saw in the clip, understands. I don't know if he's gone to university himself. I don't know if he understands trends in society, sociology, class system, race inequalities. Because also you've got white working classes that don't typically go to these uni, don't get in these kind of things as well. So there's a bit more to it, but obviously Stormzy's focused specifically on black people, and that's fine, and that's probably a good thing, and mixed race, because what we do know in this society, the UK and in America, like the Western societies, all over the world, but let's say we're talking about the West, so let's focus on the UK because we're in this country, yeah. The black people tend to have less money on average. There's less black people don't tend to have their own homes compared to like their white counterparts. They have less money in the bank. They don't tend to have like the most. They don't tend to get the top jobs. So it's kind of like you're stopping social mobility from happening. You're kind of making it harder for people. It's not that it's impossible for black people. Of course, there's some black people that are doing well. Of course there is. but typically, on average, the common denominator, they don't typically do as well or have the same opportunities as people from that are white. From a structural, a class, and a race system, it's a double whammy. It's like times two. Not only you're typically of a lower or more likely to be more working class, you're also different color, skin color. I mean, with the structural elements to that. Yeah, so it doesn't make sense for him to be going on this whole rant about saying how it's racist. Stormzy's doing his part to try and even out the playing field, and even with that, it's still nowhere near even. So it's a false equivalent. So you can't be saying to him, oh, he's being racist and kind of stuff, because it's stupidness. I don't know if this guy is just deciding to be. Because I feel like with some, do you know what it is? I feel like what it is with some people that happen to be white, yeah, that do these things sometimes. Sometimes I feel like with them, because they weren't individually, obviously as time goes on, people have died and people have been born. If they don't feel like they personally contributed to the system being like this, they think that it's not their fault, and it's not your fault. It's not It's a privilege. White privilege is a real thing. If you was born in 1998, which I was born in, yeah, and you was white, you didn't make up, so you'd be, which will now make you 26 years old, or going on to be 26, depending on what month you was born, yeah. That doesn't mean that you personally having white skin didn't make the structure how it is. So it's not you as an individual's fault. We're not saying you should be guilty for being white. That's not what it's about. Yeah, but you do have the privileges that you are subject to privileges that someone that doesn't look like you, doesn't have the same skin color as you, doesn't. And there's going to be a lot of advantages in society, in the education, job opportunities, even the dating market. I'll be completely real, just in general metrics. So someone that's Stormzy, who's a successful black person, who has a lot of influence and a lot has elevated his life, him helping giving good initiatives to people is actually a good thing. So it doesn't make sense for you to be going on this whole rant calling them racist and all that kind of stuff. It shows it's either lack of understanding, or you don't want to understand, or you just being ignorant. I don't know which one it is, but anyway, yeah. But big up Stormzy, you know it is. Keep doing your thing, and also he's doing the murky football club now, so that's all good stuff now as well, you know. And also, just to touch on that, when women creating programs for women, because that's another, bruv, what's the word I'm looking for, man? When I record early, bruv, I forget what I'm talking about sometimes. Race, gender, disability, yeah, protected characteristic groups, yeah, they're not. So even though women have their disadvantage in some fields, if a woman created a scheme, particularly for women, where women get opportunities, it makes sense. Let's be honest, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, how much you don't have barriers? White men don't typically have barriers. Now, the only barrier a white man typically may have, and this is nothing to do with race, it may be from a class point of view. It's the only thing I typically have, or if they've got a disability. But apart from that, you don't typically have these barriers.
Sorry guys, I forgot to mention a very important critical point of the whole, which is what the video is actually about as well. So part of the initiative, when Stormzy is doing a scheme for black and mixed race heritage people, typically people that went to Cambridge and Oxford universities, or say in this case Cambridge, those students from white backgrounds would typically tend to be from more middle class as well. So those students typically didn't have to work outside of university hours to support themselves financially. Whereas those black students that happen to get into university, which is difficult as it is anyway, they typically don't, their parents or families couldn't support them financially. So they can't 100% focus only on their studies. They got to also do work to support themselves financially, where their white counterparts typically don't have to. You may get the odd one, but it's not typical, and that's the whole point. And that's one of the reasons why he actually did this scheme. I forgot to mention that factor as well. That's very key, and that's the reason why he did it. So it's a good scheme. I don't see what the argument is, but yeah.
And if you do, please let me know. I'm happy to have a conversation about you. So please, guys, anyway, like this video, subscribe to this channel if you're new around here, and feel free to comment below. Peace, we out of it. Done.